Most people do not fail at saving because they are lazy. They fail because their money has no rails. When every dollar lands in one noisy account, the month becomes a long argument with yourself. A quiet system solves that by deciding where money goes before your mood gets a vote. The goal is not to become strict. The goal is to make the right move feel normal. In this video, we will build a simple money system that makes saving feel almost automatic. You can copy the whole thing, or just take the part that removes the most friction this week. The old way is to wait, spend normally, and hope there is something left at the end. But hope is a weak plan when your phone, stores, and subscriptions all ask for money first. The system flips the order. Your future gets paid before the world gets its chance. That one change protects you from hundreds of tiny decisions you never wanted to make. Instead of asking whether to save every week, you ask once and let the system repeat it. This is why automatic saving often feels easier than manual saving, even when the amount is the same. The next step is giving every important dollar a job before it can become available noise. Not a complicated spreadsheet, just a few destinations that are obvious enough to follow when life gets busy. A quiet system should be so clear that you can understand it on a tired Tuesday night. Start with one number, the amount that leaves checking automatically after every paycheck. It does not have to be impressive. It has to be repeatable without drama. A small automatic transfer that survives every month beats a giant goal you cancel twice. If 10% feels impossible, start with 1% and let the habit win first. The first victory is not the amount. It is proving that money can move without a fight. Once that feels normal, raise it a little when income rises or expenses calm down. The quiet system grows by small increases, not by punishing yourself for last month. This matters because consistency compounds in behavior before it compounds in an account. When the transfer becomes invisible, saving stops feeling like a separate personality test. You are not trying to feel motivated forever. You are building a route money can follow. Next, separate spending money from safety money so they stop pretending to be the same thing. If emergency cash sits beside grocery money, it will start to look available on a normal weekend. Put safety money in a separate account, or at least a separate visual bucket. Distance is not a weakness. Distance is a design choice that protects boring money. The best emergency fund is not exciting. It is simply there when life changes the plan. 1 month of expenses is a strong first milestone because it turns surprises into delays. 3 months is better, 6 months is calmer, but one protected month changes the feeling fast. When safety money is separate, everyday spending becomes more honest. You can see what is truly available without accidentally borrowing from your future self. That clarity removes guilt because the important money has already been protected. Now create a spending account that is allowed to go down. Many people feel stressed because every purchase seems to threaten every goal at once. A spending account says, this money is for living, not for judging yourself. When it runs low, you slow down. When it has room, you can enjoy it without confusion. The limit does the emotional work that vague budgeting used to demand from you. This is why the system should not require you to track every tiny purchase forever. Track long enough to set the limit, then let the limit guide the week. You still pay attention, but you stop turning attention into a full-time job. The real budget is not just money. It is attention, patience, and decision energy. A good system saves all three. Build a weekly reset that takes 10 quiet minutes, not an entire Sunday afternoon. The reset has 3 questions: what came in, what went out, and what needs attention. You are not trying to shame the past week. You are trying to notice the next small leak. Maybe a subscription should be canceled, a grocery habit adjusted, or a bill moved earlier. Choose one leak and fix it before you hunt for 10 more. Small repairs keep the system clean without making money feel like a punishment. This is important. The weekly reset is not a courtroom. It is a maintenance routine, like watering a plant before it wilts. When you treat money as maintenance, you need less panic and fewer dramatic fixes. 10 quiet minutes can prevent a whole month of avoidance. Give irregular expenses their own runway before they land. Car repairs, holidays, insurance, school costs, and gifts are not surprises if they happen every year. A quiet system sets aside a little each month, so these costs do not crash into checking. This is not glamorous, but it is one of the fastest ways to feel financially calmer. Because the most stressful bills are often not the largest. They're the ones you forgot to expect. Start with the next predictable expense and divide it by the number of paychecks before it arrives. If that number is too high, the system is telling you early, which is the whole point. Early truth is much cheaper than late panic. Once runway money exists, your main budget stops getting ambushed. And saving starts to feel more stable because fewer withdrawals interrupt it. Automate investing only after the first safety layer is real. Investing is powerful, but it should not be the place you run for rent money next month. When safety is handled, investing becomes less emotional because it is not carrying every job. Set the investment transfer for payday, keep it boring, and avoid checking it every afternoon. Boring is not a weakness here. Boring is how compounding gets room to work. The system should make good investing behavior happen on ordinary days, not only inspired days. If markets are loud, the transfer still happens quietly in the background. That is the behavior advantage. You are less likely to pause the habit because the news is dramatic. You can review your plan on a schedule, but you do not need to vote on it every morning. Automatic investing is not about ignoring risk. It is about removing unnecessary emotion from a long game. The more long-term the goal, the more useful a quiet routine becomes. You still choose the plan carefully. You just stop re-choosing it every time your mood changes. Put friction in front of purchases that usually make you regretful. This is not about never buying anything. It is about slowing down the purchases that hijack you. Remove saved cards from tempting stores or make the app less convenient to open. A little friction can save more money than another promise to be stronger tomorrow. Use a 24-hour wait for anything that was not on your list. If you still want it tomorrow, you can buy it from a calmer place. If you forget about it, the system just saved you without a lecture. The goal is not deprivation. The goal is buying from intention instead of momentum. When spending slows down, saving does not have to fight as hard. That is how small friction becomes a quiet form of self-respect. Create one place where progress is visible without becoming obsessive. You do not need 20 charts. You need one clear signal that the system is working. Maybe it is your safety balance, your automatic transfer streak, or your investment contribution. Pick the signal that would make your future life easier if it kept improving. Visible progress helps because money can feel invisible until something breaks. But too much checking can turn the system into another source of noise. So schedule the check, keep it brief, and return to normal life. Money should support your life, not become the only thing you are allowed to think about. The quiet system works best when it frees attention, not when it demands more. That freedom is the real return most people feel first. The biggest mistake is building a system that only works on your best week. If your plan collapses the moment life gets busy, it is too delicate. Lower the transfer, simplify the accounts, or reduce the number of categories. A system you actually keep is more valuable than a perfect one you restart every month. Another mistake is treating automation as permission to stop looking completely. Automation needs a light review, the way a house needs small maintenance even when it is well built. The point is fewer decisions, not zero awareness. You want your money to run quietly while you still know where the main switches are. If you want to start this week, do not build the whole machine today. Choose the first automatic transfer, choose where safety money lives, and choose one weekly reset time. Those 3 choices alone can change the way money feels in your house. After that, add runway money for predictable expenses and friction for the purchases you regret. Build slowly enough that the system becomes part of your normal week. Calm money is rarely one dramatic decision. It is usually a few quiet routes repeated many times. When the routes are clear, saving does not have to be a daily debate. It becomes the thing that happens first in the background before the month gets loud. And once your money has rails, you can stop relying on willpower to do every job. That is the quiet system, simple enough to keep, strong enough to protect you, and automatic enough to repeat.